Yeah.
was linked
Yep.
to giving photos and information to Epstein clientele and conspirators and Epstein himself.
Gross.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome to Know or Not to Know.
I'm Mandy.
And I'm Raquel.
And we have a new recording device, so bear with us, but hopefully we'll get through it. Raquel's gonna catch me up.
Oh, yes. Mandy has not stayed caught up at all with what, voluntarily, like on purpose, of what's going on with the Epstein files and Jeffrey Epstein and all of his co-conspirators. So I'm going to do my best to give her the lowdown in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can't fully stay away from it. It's been very difficult, and I have absolutely been exposed. Clearly. I feel like some people still are.
Oh, I know. Someone I know in my life was like, I don't really like to comment on things that I don't know a lot about. So I went home and I watched the Jeffrey Epstein files and a documentary on Hulu and a couple other ones that they have out there. And I knew he was like, you know, you like to have sex with like underage girls.
Oh, man.
There's a lot more that goes along with it, buddy. So what we've learned so far is that they definitely used, obviously, I'm sure you've heard this, I'm sure most of you have heard this, where they were using food to describe children, like jerky, grape juice, meaning
The beef
adrenochrome.
jerky one was interesting.
Yeah. Well, and then the cereal one was a new one that I learned that was even more interesting because most of the time when and cereal is brought up, I think hundreds of so times. I can't tell you the specific number, but it's a good few times it's brought up in the files. And you think milk and cereal, but there's a Latin term cereal that means sacrificio, which basically in our language translates to human
Is that probably where serial killer maybe originated
possibly
from?
Yeah.
I was wondering why they used that term. Did you say grape juice is the adrenochrome
was being
code
used
word?
as adrenochrome, and we know that from Hillary Clinton's files that were leaked back when she ran for president against Trump. So she had a couple thousand emails that were leaked, and we know that grape juice and pizza refers to children and children's blood. Specifically, children's blood from scared children.
I'm so disturbed.
Oh, it's so much more disturbing. They found out that Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, so where were we with the
grape juice, Hillary Clinton emails?
Oh, yes.
Which that's something like I was apparently. I mean, I was in a tumultuous relationship, so I guess that might have been why. But I was totally oblivious to. I knew emails of Hillary's got released, but I only recently realized how similar they were to these files, and why is it only now that we're all like aware and it's real? And
originally, her supposed reason for not wanting to release their emails, everybody's conspiracy theory behind this, she was in touch with China. But now I'm rethinking that as to she didn't want to actually give out the information that was going on the island and with Epstein in general. So, I mean, some of it could have been, of course, her working with China, but I think a lot of it was because of what she'd done with Epstein and her and Bill. And then her and Bill were subpoenaed.
And you gave me a fun little teaser when that first came out where they like denied the original, the first one.
Yeah, they basically just didn't go. And then they were like, we'll write in a sworn statement. And then Trump administration was like, absolutely not. You have to appear in court.
Yeah, the one that I saw a couple shots of them with the Pam Bondi shit.
Not that they even talked that much, and they pretty much just denied any allegations, denied knowing Jeffrey Epstein, besides, like, he was a business partner. As soon as we found out that he was a pedophile or PDF, we cut all ties with him.
Heavy hitting stuff. I'm struggling with this. I'm struggling with all of this so hard. I'm sure a lot of us are.
I think it's just terrible to know that it was like right under. You know what I think the worst part is? Not even that it was right under our noses, that like they got us to like them.
Do you remember like middle school? So funny that we're talking about middle school friends that of each other's.
Right.
What was the now I'm like looking back the dead baby jokes and they were always tied into Jews. It was like something there was like the oven one with the babies and the pizza
and the Holocaust.
Like, who started those? And then we were just dumb kids that were like, "Oh, this is really edgy. Yeah, it's so funny." But God, was it all a psyop? I cannot consume any form of media without just like, oh, Oh.
and let
Oh, I
decide
know.
then. Simple as that.
Just well, and they say when revelations happen that it's easier for the brain to start spotting patterns and consistencies and sometimes coincidences where
And
it
by
is.
revelations, you mean in psychological terms, not in like the biblical terms, right?
No, yeah,
Okay, okay.
yes,
I
I
just
mean,
wanted to
like,
make sure.
well, we've all
Because we're
come
kind of also maybe in that.
right. We're in
It
the
feels
last
like it.
we're in the last days of the last days.
Oh, it just feels like it. I think it's all secular though. I think it's all happens and it like literally makes me think back to like what we were told about the Holocaust. And it's like, was this all just happening during the Holocaust? Was Schindler's List just Epstein's list?
Right.
Like we all learned that Schindler's List just this horrible, horrible thing. How dare they put all these wonderful people on a list just plain for being Jewish? What if it wasn't for being Jewish?
Yeah.
What if it was for something else entirely?
Yeah, they do have a long history. Sigmund Freud being one of their number one like Jews, they want to always praise him, and he was a human philosopher. His books are still pretty much shoved down every college student's
Yeah, everybody like
throat, and
references. If you
he
don't
was a
know
full
anything,
blown pedophile. He believed the children were born already sexualized, already thinking about sex. What
yeah,
do
and
you,
he clearly had a thing for his mommy,
oh,
or his mommy had a thing for him.
or both? I mean, I assume mommy started that if
I
that's the
assume
case. Yeah. And how do you even get
the
there?
original mommy, or what is it, boy mom? The original
Freud's
boy
mom.
mom was Sigmund Freud's mom.
Yikes. Yes, yes. Well, and that leads me to a few other interesting little facts about Jeffrey Epstein. And I feel like probably a lot of people knew this. So I'm rewatching the victims' documentaries, like for some of them for the third time, some of them for the second time. So there's a bunch of documentaries. Been trying to keep up with that and then overlaying it with the emails. And a lot of it's from the victim, which I feel like is probably the most believable sources. I really like to listen to their viewpoint on what happened, and especially because some of them didn't even know each other, and all like a lot of the stories are very similar. A lot of the stories line up. They could identify furniture in the house even though they never met each other. Very, very clear that there's thousands of victims that were just victimized physically by Jeffrey Epstein, just by him himself, not by everyone that he was also trafficking. But in the baby farms, and that's a whole nother part of the Epstein files. It just every day gets worse and darker. But
That
Jeffrey Epstein suffered from a very rare condition where his penis was shaped like a lemon. Some described it as an egg, and it was a micropenis.
I just saw. I think it was depositions. Is that what they're called? The like
Yes.
pre-trial videos.
Uh,
I think it was in depositions, and that got brought up, and he just like got so like.
Could you please give us your name?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Is it true, sir, that you have what's been described as an egg-shaped penis?
Form, vague and definite, and I'm going to give you the first warning, Mr. Kubin, that these types of questions are not only argumentative, but directed in a manner to embarrass Mr. Epstein. If you continue with this type of question, I will adjourn the deposition immediately.
Sir, according to the police department's probable cause affidavit, one witness described your penis as oval-shaped and claimed when erect it was thick towards the bottom but was thin and small towards the head portion and called it egg-shaped. Those are not my words, I apologize. But as
Is
Mr.
now adjourned.
Critton has stated that this is
Thank you, Mr. Kubin.
I'm willing to continue.
Just stood up and walked away.
I mean, he was uncomfortable.
Funny connection there, since we were talking about the Holocaust. Anyways, do you know about Hitler's
No.
penis? You don't? His urethra was
Oh, yes.
misplaced, so it was like down by his balls instead of at the
Yes.
tip, and it was known to be micro.
That's so interesting with this level of sociopathy and just like
Yeah.
it's serial crimes, right? Like he was a serial teenage girl rapist. Hitler was a serial Jew killer, and not just the hundreds. We're talking thousands of victims. Yeah, and
I
then
don't know. And that doesn't mean that if you have a weird nether regions
no,
that
no.
you're bad person. I think it's just the psychology behind having that, and then the
Whatever.
shame of society, and then it
Mhm.
just turns into this cocktail of,
Spiraled from
yeah,
there.
if you have creepy parents or mean parents or on top of that,
I've
or
actually met a gentleman with a micro penis, and he was a perfectly normal human being, from what I could tell.
you
He
just
didn't
tell you
seem.
for fun.
I mean, I knew him, like, it was private conversation. It's not like he.
You just happen to find out. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just like, damn, that's not usually something you learn about people.
yeah. Every once in a while,
It's
they're not.
probably more common than you think. It's
It's
gotta be.
it's rare, but like I think it's like 1 in 10,000 or something like that.
And that's not really that rare.
And I could be totally wrong about that statistic, so feel free to criticize me. I'm as sometimes I can remember statistics, other times I can't. I don't have a teleprompter in front of me. I was gonna give a breakdown of this. I'm not downplaying anything that happened, and we'll talk about it more as the episodes go on. And there's other things that we'd like to bring up, of course, but basically from about 1993 to 2019, he was trafficking women from the other, or not women. And I really wish the news would.
Only 93?
Well, I mean, that's what it
I
dates
think it was
back
before
to.
that. Okay.
Well, so the interesting thing about Epstein is that he went to college, dropped out of college, had no college degree, ends up working at a very prestigious, rich high school where he ends up being like, I believe, a math teacher there because
Oh
the
yeah, and then he ended up at university teaching too.
yes, and
How's that work?
the dean was just like, "Oh, you're good at math? Yeah, I'm good at math. I get the job." And he was explained to be very manipulative, very charismatic, and he smiled a lot like the Cheshire Cat. And he had the ability, a lot of people said this about him. There's very rare interviews of Epstein, but people that were close to him, like his lawyers and Les Wexner for some reason, who was so close to him that Jeffrey Epstein ended up being his sole beneficiary. I don't know how that happens. That's very weird for a very,
The
very
Lex
rich
Wexner
man.
stuff is uh-huh.
Oh, well, and his reasoning for it was that Jeffrey Epstein was at his house and was like, "Oh, are you keeping inventory of your furniture and your silverware? Because people could be stealing your furniture and silverware." And he was like, "That's a really good idea. We should be keeping inventory. Let me sign over every single penny I have to you." That's what Les Wexner said in court, under oath,
Okay, because
to give
the
a
alternative
reason.
is you've been bribed for
You
something.
did
There's
something.
blackmail happening.
You were in cahoots with him. You did something with him. You're a demon, and he was a demon. I don't know their reasoning behind it, but that, and just his like Les Wexner's facial expressions. They give him the paper of like all the money that Jeffrey Epstein originally took from him to become rich, and he's all,
Epstein stole or otherwise misappropriated several $100 million from Wexner. That misconduct, together with the fees that Epstein paid himself for his services to Wexner, appears to account for virtually all of Epstein's wealth. So several $100 million is a large but not precise figure.
It is
To the
large.
best of your knowledge, how much exactly did Epstein steal?
I don't know. I don't think I'll ever know.
Try to understand a little bit better how Epstein was able to steal or misappropriate that many funds. One way, reportedly, is that the trusts that we described earlier, which I know you said you have no recollection of.
It's just regularly done.
Answer the question. 5 words, okay? Answer the question.
Okay.
but it was like
Oh, he's
watching
pretending.
an alien try to fake human emotion. Like the shock on his face is like,
Years ago, but not ever on your radar.
Never.
The report indicates that it was
Name, just like the names lining up is, I don't know how much of a coincidence can anything be anymore.
oh, right.
But it just reminds me of like the Spider-Man bad guy. Wasn't it Lex Luthor?
Oh, no, that would be Superman's bad guy.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Lex
So-
Luthor.
It's like, I don't know.
Well, some people keep mixing up, especially our dyslexic folk. Nothing against you guys. I have some dyslexia myself, but Wex Lesnar, I keep
Lex
saying a lot.
Lesnar. That's
And
funny.
I'm like, honestly, I could see that mistake for
Yeah,
sure.
there's so, again, media. Like, I can't, and I could be seeing connections that aren't there, but it couldn't be all of them.
Oh, I think that this is a
It
web
seems
that has been weaved.
so intertwined. So intertwined. And then, okay, so I was thinking about, because like the justice thing, justice was primarily sold at Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, is that because they kind of get the rich kids through like boarding schools because all the rich parents are too busy to take care of their kids, so they pay other people to
And it
take
took
care of their
a
kids. So they get the rich kids that way. But then the poor kids, I mean, PBS, they don't really have control over because there's no money involved. So most of the poor kids are only watching that. So they had to get tech in our hands by making Alexa really cheap and easily accessible. And
smartphones are cheap and
smartphones are cheap
accessible.
and accessible now. Everybody's got to have one, even your
Even a tablet's
seven-year-old kid,
$100.
especially if you're a poor single mom and you got your kids at home.
You need
Definitely
a
got to.
babysitter.
So, and then you got like the justice clothes, which is little baby girl clothes that they're putting sexy things on our
Crop
booties.
tops and yeah.
And it's at Walmart, which is like obviously where you shop for cheaper clothes. It's like, whoa, this is just a whole like they're just trying to get them from both ends, and
Well, and then that goes back to
oh
back when Pizzagate was originating on the media, and there were pictures of little boy shirts that said it had a pizza slice on it. It said "Take a slice," and everybody was like, "What does this mean?" And we're, "Oh, you're probably looking into it. You're crazy. That's yeah, right. Like Walmart's in on it, and now it's like, are the Waltons on it? The Rothschilds were in on it. That
yeah,
would not be a stretch for the Waltons to be in on it. Oh, we went on. Anyway, yeah, what I was saying, from 93, he was a school teacher, and then for no reason had no business being a school teacher around teenage girls, of course. And for Jeffrey Epstein, he looked at it like this: it was much harder to get the boarding school girls and the rich middle class girls from Palm Springs, because if you
right,
think about it, $200, $300 for a massage, it's not a lot of money to them. They've got Gucci bags.
right.
But you've got on the other side of the bridge of Palm Springs, closer down in the inner city, the slums,
Hmm.
trailer park moms, single moms, and that's how he was getting
Yeah,
them. And we're talking a trafficking of where he's grooming girls to go out get other girls 3 to 4 times a day. What?
I thought he had low testosterone. How
And
was he
had
pumping that much out?
I don't think he was, because from the interviews, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to discredit any of the victims, but from my understanding, it seemed like he was doing a lot of fondling and more deviant sexual stuff to them than actually like full on penetration every single time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean, I was involved with sexually molesting the girls as well, and we know that. I mean, as what we know, she doesn't have a penis. So, I mean, but would it be a twist if she did? I don't even know at
She'd be
this
the
point.
what was the perfect plaything, I think is what they called a man that had boobs added and hormones.
In 2003, he was arrested and was a convicted pedophile. But it seemed to be completely ignored by every person
Yeah, it's
around
like,
him.
it's fine. Yeah, you're a sex offender, but come
Yeah,
hang out with me and my family for the holidays.
right, right. And
At
I mean, people who knew he was a pedophile that were in on the circle had their children around him. There's multiple
Mhm.
pictures of him holding famous people's little girls. You know, this man is a sex offender of
But then
little
you
baby
learn about
girls.
their genetic like circle and all their tests, and were some of those children his? Were like I don't think any of them knew who the father of any of those children are.
Oh, well, and then we think about the 23 and Me selling
That's what
out
I mean.
people's
Yeah.
data.
Oh.
And I mean, there are $300 million companies selling dirt cheap DNA tests, you know? So they were clearly, that they
Well,
even,
so wasn't 23andMe questioned why they were buying so much of their tests, though, right? Maybe it was
yes.
after they questioned, and they're like, well, quit questioning us. We're just gonna buy you out.
Well, they were pulled in because they were saying that you could delete your history, and in their privacy clause says you give us the right to hold on to your data and cannot be permanently deleted. So even if you go in and permanently delete your information, it's
That's
just
just
like
on your
Facebook.
end.
It just they still are keeping your data. We've got other companies in on these weird little scandals of selling people, like for instance the one that you brought up with the photos, the famous photo company for elementary schools
Yeah.
was linked
Yep.
to giving photos and information to Epstein clientele, Epstein himself.
Gross.
Yeah. So, and then we get into the suicide, where that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He had a roommate that was he said was after him.
The mortician views on the
Well, that's
suicide is
where
definitely that's where it really starts to crack because like even this it was like a straight across and with hanging it's going to
it's
like
gonna.
roll, it's gonna go like you're gonna see clear movement
Well, and if you think about it, if you hang yourself, your body's
And
being pulled down.
but this was like straight.
Yeah, it was like a
And
ring around his
then
neck.
she was saying, like, even like the pictures of the deceased body, like they're not even, the pooling isn't even, the coloring, the discoloration isn't there. Like 100% of it didn't look like a dead body at all.
Well, and then I'm reading articles where they're talking about how he tried to fall from his top bunk and smash his face and kill himself. And he had wrote this in a suicide note. But I mean, I wouldn't say he's extremely intelligent, but I would think that every common sense human being knows that you can't allow yourself to fall and kill yourself. Like your body will instinctively
Try to catch itself.
try. I mean, it would be very, very difficult for you to actually, unless you're jumping from a very, very high building, which of course we've seen people do that on freeway passes and whatnot. But from a bunk
But
bed.
that's not like a guaranteed death unless you somehow have your like hands tied and like your face is forced.
Well, and he had a sleep apnea machine. So 10 days before this, he tried to commit suicide. They kept him on a 10-day suicide watch, which is completely unheard of. Then they have pictures of a sleep apnea machine in his cell. There's like 12 or 13 sets of sheets. You get one set of sheets
Yeah,
when
that
you're
was
an
crazy.
inmate.
That was
Why were
crazy.
there so many sheets? And then a roommate that's supposedly trying to kill him, but then the roommate, when he was interviewed, was said to be he was the one that revived him the first time he tried to commit suicide. And I guess he tried to revive him the second time. I could be wrong. One or both of the times.
So he had roommates?
He had a roommate. No,
Even on suicide watch, they still had him with a roommate?
no, after the 10 days, they put him in a cell with a roommate.
And then I thought it was on suicide watch that he died. I didn't realize it was after he was.
After.
Ooh, weird.
Isn't that weird? And he was in the shoe of the prison, is what they call this particular part of the New York prison that he was in. And I mean, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's full of rats. It's cold. You're in your cell 20 hours a day. You get 3 days a week to shower. There's water bugs the size of rats. It's a disgusting place to be. Apparently, he never complained. Only thing he ever complained about was that they gave him the wrong laxative. But they could tell, like, the people that knew him, his lawyer especially, and God knows how many women were trafficked to him. And he's, of course, I would never have anything to do with him if I had known what he was doing, which is what everybody has been parroting over and over and over again. So we're getting literally zero information from these people. They either plead the fifth, lie, or act
So what did
shocked.
his lawyer said? He did seem like he was uncomfortable or what?
Extremely uncomfortable.
Okay.
He seemed like he just seemed. Some people said he seemed jovial and like he was going to make it out of this, and other people said it seemed like he was depressed. I'm still a firm believer that he didn't kill himself.
Yeah.
And if he did, he had help.
Yeah.
And people are like, could you? Obviously, he didn't kill himself. Could you imagine the amount of people you'd have to pay off to get in there to kill Jeffrey Epstein? It's obvious he killed himself, and it's like, politicians with billions of dollars would definitely have the money. They wouldn't even need to pay some of these people off. And the only two people that have currently actually been prosecuted and gotten in trouble for this are the two guards that fell asleep because they had them so overworked by watching Epstein around the clock, and they had very little policemen at the time, fell asleep, and they were like, it is unheard of to prosecute the guards in a situation like this. And they are the only two people that have currently had any allegations, trouble against them. And they're regular guards probably making $23 an hour.
But why just eat babies?
Yeah. Babies.
I just don't get it.
It's a power. It's a power for them. Think about the most innocent thing you can get a hold of.
So disturbing, guys.
Yes, very disturbing.
I don't think I want to keep an open mind today.
Maybe a closed mind and a strong bias. I think in this case we
Just
could
a
have a
little
bias.
bit, yeah.
But for now, that's all I have solid on my facts. I have so much more in my head and still just digesting it. I think that it's meant to be hard to digest because they don't want us to get to the bottom of it. So even if it is hard, and even if you don't want to talk about it, even if you have to take breaks, I think it is best that we do unify in this subject.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of these people have got to pay the price.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, his victims were like, this man has never had to face a consequence in his life. And we can't let his co-conspirators get away with the same thing.
Yeah.
And you know what else? This is the last thing I'll leave you guys on. This man, and this is the only thing that kind of points in my book towards suicide, but this could have been for any reason. This man, right before he died, transferred all of his money, all of his equity, everything to the Virgin Islands. And people who live in the Virgin Islands are told to not file usually their taxes, especially their state taxes, in the Virgin Islands because it can take up to 9 years to untangle the money in the Virgin Islands. So as a big fuck you to all of his victims who would have gotten that money for what they had to go
He
through,
just tied it all up.
tied it up in the Virgin Islands. So because of legality and red tape, all of his profits,
So it's not like
everything.
he transferred it into some account there
No,
that
it's
he
just-
has access to. It's now just there and the government's seizing it because he never paid taxes there.
Well, his assets, he would have enough to cover whatever taxes he didn't pay in the Virgin Islands. It just could take years because of how many assets he had to untangle them. Some of
Huh.
those people might pass away before they ever get that money.
That's pretty mean.
Yeah. Because he knew that his assets would go to them.
It's pretty fucking mean.
And just to have his last control in case he did die, in case he did commit suicide, in case he did get in prison for life, he made sure that those people were never going to get his money. And if they did, it would take years of fighting for it.
Yucky.
So I'll leave you on that last note. Sorry, guys. Not a great episode for happiness. But you can hang tight for part 2. And hopefully you'll get to see it this week. If not, you'll get to see it next time. And it's going to be Mandy's little tidbit. And she'll be in the driver's seat. I was going to leave off on something fun, but maybe we'll do that at the end of part 2.
Goodbye.
Yes. Have a very nice evening. And always keep an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls out.
Yeah, not with this one at all. Challenge your bias sometimes.
Sometimes. And have a great night, you guys. Try to find some happiness. Go outside and touch the grass.
Find joy. Hug
And
your family.
subscribe.
Subscribe. We will try to bring you happiness every so often.
Every so often.